Real Spartan Undersuit, Project Mjolnir by Installation00. Oh, dude, he's got the theatrical intro. I'm loving this. I'm on the edge of my seat. Shh. That was good. He got us. I love this opening, actually.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Installation00 and an update on Project Mjolnir. I know it's been a long time in coming, and I apologise for the delay there. Really quick breakdown on why things have been radio silent for quite a while. Towards the latter end of last year, a lot of things happened in my private life, which kind of ground a lot of things to a halt. So the property we were renting at the time, the landlord decided they want to sell up and just kind of snatch the property out from beneath us, which isn't ideal. So any work on Project Mjolnir, Project ODST kind of ground to a halt, and the priority was real life. So unfortunately, particularly the last kind of 3 months of last year, very little was being done in regards to Project Mjolnir, along with the fact that I had a lot of events on as well. So I went over to HCS in Seattle. I was planning to go to the Halo Europa event in Blackpool, but we had car trouble, so I need to get a new car as well. And then we had the sponsorship with Paramount Plus, who sent me out to Sao Paulo for the announcement of season 2 of the Halo TV show. So a lot of things were happening towards the end of last year, and it meant that Project Mjolnir and Project ODST unfortunately had to take a backseat.
Well, I will be the first to say, or at least I will do my best to say, in the time frame that allowed this. I'm glad to see you still here. I'm glad to see you still doing YouTube. I know on the React channel we did cover in regard to some of the Halo copyright issues that were going on with the revelation that Sony does hold exclusive distribution rights for the Halo 4 soundtrack. So Halo 4 soundtrack is a little sus in regards to copyright claims on YouTube because Sony does have valid legal claim to those. And I did know that there were a number of things going on in a period of time. It is good to see you. It is good to still see you on YouTube. You know, as anyone's looking into Halo, I do definitely mention you, Installation00, because you put out awesome content, and it really is quality content. I mean, who doesn't want Mjolnir helmets in their room? Like, let's be real.
Now we're in the new property. The kind of the first quarter of 2024 is more or less out of the way. We're settled in, and work has begun once again. We're back in hardware mode, which is great. So I wanted to give you kind of a breakdown on kind of where we are, what has been happening, what is happening, what we're planning on doing, and then the big reveal.
I like the transition.
So all in all, progress so far. We've been doing this project now for sort of four years, I think now. About 4 years since I announced it. First year really was kind of fleshing things out, getting traction, and just kind of finding the right direction to go in and where to start. We very rapidly attracted the right people to the project, and progress rapidly accelerated. Ultimately culminating in kind of the big thing of last year being the confirmed announcement that the actual real Mjolnir helmet had been completed. Now, by real Mjolnir helmet, if for those of you who might be new to this, or just as a reminder, by real, I mean as real as it is practically possible with modern day technology, as lore accurate as possible. So the helmet back there has an outer shell of titanium. It has an inner frame made of aircraft grade aluminium, along with a built-in heads-up display, complements of the HoloLens 2 from Microsoft. And it has a full helmet suite including cooling systems, communication systems, both internal and external communication systems, a binaural auditory system to allow you true sort of stereo surround sound, so to speak, so you can hear outside of the helmet, and localized sound, along with really high-powered torches, and a communications array that allows all of those systems to be controlled both from the heads-up display and external control units. So it is as close to a real Mjolnir helmet as is practically possible. We already have—
So needless to say, this is a feat of engineering. This is a bunch of really cool people and a bunch of great minds coming together under a common purpose to make some really cool stuff. And I'm almost curious if Microsoft is going to be if they could use this to kind of market Halo to a degree. I know I've been fairly vocal that I do love Halo. I have been vocal that I'm in the minority of people that liked Halo 5, didn't really have an issue with Halo 5. In fact, I like Halo 5's multiplayer over Halo Infinite, and just wasn't really happy with Halo Infinite cutting a lot of campaign. I can already hear the comments. Kip, Halo 5 this, Halo 5 this. With respect, I've already had these conversations. If you want, I will make a video or videos in regards to Halo. I'm not opposed to that. Understand, if you don't like Halo 5, as Installation00 admittedly has played through Halo 5, I believe, once, that's fine. I'm not going to vilify you. That's fine. If you don't like it, you don't like it. That's fine. Also understand, afford me the same opportunity that I like it, and I recognize that you may not. That's fine. It's fine. Let's just leave it at that. But no, this is very cool. I could see Microsoft doing something with this if they wanted to pick it up or wanted advertising for Halo Infinite. I know that sometimes they'll have their little events where they show things like the full-size Split Force, things like that. They could probably do something with this, honestly, and I'd be very surprised if Microsoft hadn't reached out to Installation00. That being said, this also does not dismiss the option that Microsoft may have reached out to Installation00. However, that would most likely require an NDA, and whether that's true or not, I worked under NDAs. You don't discuss what's under NDAs. Military, you don't discuss what's under NDA or OPSEC. I get it. So just wanted a brief aside there really quick. This is actually very cool. A lot of really cool and smart people, way smarter than I am, have been working on this project, and it shows. The helmet alone was great.
Plans to innovate on the version 1 helmet and upgrade it to make a version 2 helmet, which is a significant upgrade to the version 1, but we'll get to that in just a minute. And at the same time that we were developing the helmet, we also developed the heating and cooling system vest, which allows liquid to be circulated through a cooling vest to cool the body down, as well as having carbon fiber heating pads to better heat the body up. And that was all informed by research as how to best heat and cool the body. They were kind of the main big developments, although at the very latter end of last year, I did make the announcement that the exoframe leg up there on the cube storage there had been completed. The
Nice.
Exoframe is the beginning of the actual quote-unquote powered part of the armor. So I have one of those, Maker has one as well, and we've both begun comparing and contrasting its functionality. We're in the midst of being able to refine that design and slim it up and really start making developments in the right direction with that.
I do have to ask, actually. This is kind of like a constructive criticism kind of point. And like, I always get weird about doing constructive criticism kind of things because people always can take it weird. And so if Installation00 does see this, first of all, hi. I love your work. It's lovely. I know it's been a minute since I've done React content on your content, but trying to send as many people as I can your way. Awesome person. Love your content. Love what you're doing here. The camera, for the fact that it keeps auto kind of turning, that's kind of throwing me off a little bit. The quality also, this feels like a webcam. And I'm kind of in a weird case because I use a model because I don't feel physically photogenic, among other reasons like security, why I don't use my actual person. I feel that this could be remedied with either a more powerful web camera or even a very good phone, I guess. That being said, obviously finances can be an issue in that. And it functions. It works. For someone like me that's looking at it, though, just kind of like from the audience coming in, how would you attract more people to this? You could probably get a better camera. Maybe, or just some settings. Maybe it could be just the lighting that day. It could be throwing the camera off. Could be throwing a number of things that could be happening here. The camera I'm looking at, though, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on with the picture and why it keeps rotating. Once again, healthy, friendly criticism kind of thing. I have no issue with the content. Just if they're looking to take it a step further, if he was actually looking at doing that, that might be a point that he could do. But enough on that.
That's what has been going on. What is going on at the moment is we're back in hardware mode, so we're starting to produce electronics and software again in regards to Project Mjolnir and Project ODST. The big things to kind of write home about are that we are taking the systems that were inside of the Mjolnir helmet, for the version 1 helmet that is, and reverse engineering them to make the systems therein commercially available. That was a big ethos of Project Mjolnir when we first set out to do things. So what we are doing, as you can tell from me having a Morrigan helmet,
nice
here, is we're taking all of the electronic systems that were in the version 1 helmet, we're slimming them up, we're refining them, and we're reverse engineering them, and basically making packs that enable cosplayers primarily to upgrade their helmets to have the same systems within them that we have with the version 1 Mjolnir helmet. So
this is so cool. Do you know how much money I would drop on one of these things? I would absolutely save for one of these things, 100%. Like, it has been a dream of mine to walk around in, like, my Halo Reach Scout set for some time. Halo Reach Scout set, got the kukri on the pauldron Emil style, got your Carter left pauldron, right? I would do a lot for that. The issue is I'm not very good with, like, EVA foam and stuff. But what I can say is that this is awesome. This is a huge step, especially on completion. Like, the applications for this project are numerous, and especially on completion, it can go a lot of cool places. And I'm super for this. It's why I want to take time and react to some cool stuff like this, because I believe in this. I may not, be able to watch every single Installation00 video when it comes out, and I do lament that I don't have the time for that. But what I can do is, hey, this cool person is doing a really cool thing. You should go check this out, because this is super legit.
Will have active cooling systems. They'll have torches that can be turned on and off wirelessly. They'll have internal communication systems, external communication systems, binaural auditory systems, as well as immersive HUD lines. And we're tentatively already looking towards a lighter version of the heads-up display systems. Yeah. So all of that is being reverse engineered and will eventually be made publicly available. So I'm really excited about that particular aspect of the project as well. We've also been working with a few people external to the materials group on developing systems for the weapons, like smart scope systems, for example, active targeting systems that will all work with the heads-up display systems that we've developed, along with a more accurate way to monitor ammunition count and not have some of the fundamental flaws that are prevalent in some of the other ammo counting systems that have been developed thus far. And
So does this begs the question, actually. Does this mean that this would be compatible, say, if you go to the range, or if you set up certain things specifically, say, I don't know, someone that's able to 3D print a Kel-Tec and add 3D printed parts onto it to make it a Halo BR, for instance, right? Obviously, all local laws versus legislation being, being observed. Would this mean that you could actually, in real time, see your ammunition count in your heads-up display lower as you go through the magazine? See, these are the things that I think that it opens up a lot of potential, especially if you have a heads-up display like that. Also, the obvious meme, can it play Doom? Can it play Doom? Can it play Halo 1? There's a lot that this could do, and I'm super for this project.
Beginning work on the proprioception frame, which is a method of being able to track the body in real time in space and know the exact positions of the respective parts of the limbs, mainly for the purposes of the robotic systems to then be able to take executive control over the movement of the armor itself in a degree of power assist. One, to kind of carry the armor's own weight, but also to give a very modest strength boost. So the big things that we're doing next are we are developing the version 2 Mjolnir helmet, which is a stark improvement on the design parameters of the version 1 helmet. There's going to be some innovations that we're putting into that gain us some functionalities that we unfortunately missed the first time around, but that we will absolutely and utterly address in the version 2. It also serves to make the helmet more modular. We can change things out and swap things out much faster without having to kind of go right the way back to the drawing board and start the process all over again.
I do think modularity would help in the long run. This is from an outside looking in, not a specialist in this field. Clearly, everyone working on this project would be more of a specialist than I am. With that out of the way, I do think that modularity would help in this and help kind of streamlining the process. That way you're not, exactly like you're saying, back to the drawing board, having to reverse engineer everything every single time. In fact, I think modularity could even be a selling point. And even then, say for instance, if you had modularity on certain, almost said battle packs, battery packs, right? And a new battery pack or a higher power, higher amperage, higher, resilient is the word I'm going to use. It's a better battery, right? Becomes available and you're able to adapt it using the modularity system. Would you be able to just insert that on the fly? That way it kind of future-proofs your design a little bit. So you have, say, when you want to develop the Gungnir helmet, which I feel would be a feat in itself because that thing is all brick as the visor, right? Minus that tiny little camera, the Gungnir from Reach specifically. And, you wanted to maybe have more battery life on that thing. Having the modularity to be able to go, well, we have this battery, but this battery is now more affordable, it's more accessible, or if you have access to this battery, there's an adapter, we can just slot that right in. I think that makes it more of a platform, and I think that's super cool.
So that's going to be a big step in the right direction. It's basically the concept at the moment that we're working with is basically a helmet within a helmet, but I'll flesh more information out about that when I give you the kind of the big update on the version 2 helmet.
Makes sense.
And the next big plans, really, we want to do some ballistic testings for the titanium armor itself. So we want to make replica titanium plates of the pectoral armor of Master Chief and actually get them shot at. So we've had some very brief conversations with the guys over at Impact Props. The guys who have been testing the real-life Halo weapons, which has been awesome to watch from my perspective. And there are tentative plans to have a collaboration with them and actually get a real armor plate ballistic tested. That'll be quite fun.
Are we going to be testing? What are we testing these against, though? Are we going to be testing it up against the Halo AR's 7.62 round? Are we going to be using 7.62 as the basis for this? That's a hefty round, to be fair. Huh. You see how this Halo kind of intersects with my interests, right? Interest in firearm content and stuff.
And I'm going to tentatively put it out there that I would like to perhaps reach out to Demolition Ranch to get him to fire everything up to and including his 50 cal rifle at a 1-to-1 replica of the pectoral plate of Mjolnir, because I just think that would be awesome to see.
Yeah,
so I can see that. Kind of what's planned.
So at that point, it looks like we're going for a range. We can have anything from 22 up to 9mm, 45 ACP, 223, 556, 762, 308, 65 Creedmoor, 50 BMG. I mean, 400 JTAC is another thing that you could do. Titanium armor is not as good as it sounds, and that's I don't. It depends what the goal is. And that being said, I mean, I'm all for a Demolition Ranch, Installation00 Halo collab. I'm for that. I think that'd be cool. I do think that this is going to prove an interesting challenge. I think a lot of combat vets would also have a lot of input on this in regards to, for example, if I was to build combat armor, right? If I was going to be I kind of like Dead Space's combat armor. I kind of like Halo's combat armor. Let me get a bunch of military together, buy everyone some beers, right? Let's have a chat about this, right? And I were to present the design, I guarantee you the Marine Corps, the Army, Navy, Air Force, everyone would be able to start picking apart that armor bit by bit. Why do you have this here? That's just going to weigh you down. This is going to restrict movement. That's not going to stand. That's not going to stand up to 7.62. Trust me. I can't tell you how I know. Wink, wink. Trust me, that's not going to work, right? And I think that there could actually be a lot of feedback on that. And I encourage you, if you do have military experience, or if you want to seemingly contribute to this project as well. I mean, he does clearly have a Patreon as well. I don't know if he's open to more people. I can't speak on that personally. That's something that you'd have to research yourself in. But I do encourage this kind of debate in the comment section, because there are people that are going to have experience from the military side that I don't. I really don't. And also from the engineering side as well. How would you engineer this? How do you, what material would you use? Would it be titanium? Would it be steel? A number of things that this could be. For this coming year. Before I move on, Project ODST. ODST has kind of slowed down. It slowed down as part of everything that was happening at the end of last year, but we're picking it back up again. We've already developed and acquired some really high quality models that we can work off of and engineer and work with to optimize the design parameters that we're going for with the ODST project. So what we got planned for initially the ODST helmet, and what we're going to reveal there is worlds apart from anything else that you've seen so far, so stay tuned for that as well. That kind of broadly speaking is what has been what's going on, what is happening at the moment, and what will be happening in the coming year. And I'm really happy with where we are with things. So all in all, that's a broad breakdown of what's been happening with Project Mjolnir. Again, my apologies that it's been radio silent for as long as it has been, but thank you to everyone who has supported the project, continues to support the project, both on Patreon, for the Materials Group Patreon, and on the GoFundMe. Again, links for all that is down below, as well as the people who've been buying Mjolnir, Project Mjolnir t-shirts over on Teespring. Again, all the profits of that go straight into the project. Without you guys, this just wouldn't be possible. And I thank you if you've passively helped by watching the videos, subscribing, liking the videos, and sharing them around. All of it helps, and it helps get the project out to more people, gets more attention, and ultimately allows us to do more. And another big thank you to all of our sponsors so far that have jumped aboard to help develop Project Mjolnir and Project ODST respectively, and get the project as a whole to where it is at the moment. That's kind of where we are, but I'm sure there's something else. I could The tie-in is great.
could showcase.
And so here's the thing. That's why I want to react to things like this. Not necessarily because it's going to get buku views, not necessarily because I believe in a project like this. And he's literally doing something that I remember Halo 3 booting up for the first time when I was at one of my buddies' houses. I remember playing Halo 2 when I was a kid. I never played Halo CE till 2019. Gone into that at length. But this is something that is just so cool. It's realization on a dream. And I want to share this with as many people as I can because there are people that watch me that haven't even heard of Installation00. There's people that watch me know that, may not have interest in VTubers and they have tangential interest in Halo or interest in Halo who haven't heard of this. And I want to help those people find his content and this project because it really is just that cool. I feel like I'm a broken record saying it's cool. I don't really have the ability to express how just epic this is. How far this can go. How many people are coming together to realize this? It's honestly great to see people working together to just achieve this. It's awesome.
Okay.
I think the camera is just having issues focusing. I think that might be it. Ah! Yeah!
Why'd you have to make it weird?
We're not making it weird. It's fine. The meme was exquisite, though. 10 out of 10. Mad respect. 100%.
I'm going to move you over to this camera. This is the completed Spartan BDU, taking heavy inspiration from the Gen 2 platform, Spartan BDU. You'll probably recognize a lot of the features here as being something that's like sort of from Spartan Ops.
Right.
It's that kind of style. It's also taking some heavy inspirations from some of the early concept art for the BDUs, as well as the Halo Infinite Gen 3 BDUs, as well as some very loose inspirations from the BDUs that we saw in the Fall of Reach animated movie. All in all, the development process, this has been being developed since very early on in the process of Project Mjolnir. It was one of the first things that it was in my head that needed to be done first. I like the idea of working kind of from the inside out.
Right, makes it easier.
Because it was, in my mind, it was easier to start with the inner components because they were more achievable more quickly and then work outwards. As it is, we've changed a little bit from that design methodology.
Well, I mean, realistically, right? Are you going to build a car first? Are you going to build the frame first? Or are you going to build the engine first, right? Reasonably, you should be building the internals first. Are you going to build a PC case first or internals first? Yes, you can build it case first, and I know a lot of people do. I know I picked a case that I liked. But what happens if, say, mid-build, you're like, well, I was going to work on a 2080, but now since the 4080 is available, I'm just going to go with the 4080, and maybe your case isn't big enough, right? So it is a good thing to start from the internals and build your internal structures and go forward and build out. However, that's not always possible or feasible, and there are exceptions to that.
The grand scheme of things, though, like I say, it's been in development for all of that duration of time, and the results...
It looks good. It looks bulky. I love
very
it.
Self-evident. To kind of give you a breakdown, kind of working from the outside in, so we have these hard mounting points that are in locations here. We're gonna adjust these to have magnetic couplers, and we might even upgrade them to be titanium as well. That will enable it to be kind of located into the next layer and not move around too much, independent of, well, me, so to speak. It kind of anchors me into the larger suit as a whole. The black hard points here allow some degree, allow flexibility. I can move around, but there's some degree of structural limitation to avoid hyperextension. So, for example, you can't go too high up this way. You've got to come up and around to get up above your head. That's not unlike some of the characteristics that we saw with Mjolnir itself. The hard parts themselves are a foamed polyurethane rubber, mainly for padding and protection, but again, allow some degree of structural limitation. That includes the spine armor as well, which also acts as the primary conduit for a lot of the electronics and things like that that are fed through the suit. We'll get onto that in a minute. Then you can see we have certain feature points here, which are kind of harder padded areas to protect from the contact and interface points between this and the next layer out from this. Again, that just kind of adds comfort for the wearer. For me, protects the body from sort of abrasions, pinch points, and things like that.
Well, you think at the end of the day, right? The Mjolnir platform is developed for super soldiers, for soldiers in Halo. And, you know, while they might not necessarily have, it might not necessarily be the most comfortable at time, it's designed for extended use, extended wear, especially in combat, right? Now, I mean, being in the middle of a combat zone is not going to be an easy task by any means, right? Being in an active firefight, active combat zone, it kind of helps when, you know, maybe you're not tugging at your shirt every 5 seconds, or maybe it helps if, you know, you don't have something pinching your back. So the Mjolnir platform being what a vast amount of money of the USNC at the time in Halo developed into this. It's one of the most expensive technological pieces just in humankind as what Halo CE. I think it got a little different going forward. It's not a cheap suit by any means. And so, yeah, comfortability would have to be there, especially for potentially prolonged engagements with heavy armor.
The material itself is, as I recall, is again, I'm not great with textiles. This is why I subcontract it, or, you know, sort external contractors. The material is a 4-dimensional stretch fabric, as I recall. So it's very soft. It's very soft to the touch. It feels almost like nylon spandex kind of material, but it's
Interesting.
not. So it's very soft. It's very flexible. It moves with me and it expands and contracts as it needs to. It's very breathable. So even now on a relatively warm day here in the UK and with the window closed, and I'm pretty sure the heating is on. Yes, it is. I'm not particularly hot. I'm not overheating in this, so it's a very breathable suit. So you've got this the soft material on the outside. We've got a padding layer in between, and then another blue material on the inside. Going deeper again, so beneath that we have various heating elements as part of the extended peripheral systems for the heating and cooling systems. So, for example, if I can just unzip that a little bit, so there you go. You can just see it there. So that's there you go. The white pad there. So that is a carbon fiber heating pad I've got more here. There you go. So that's a carbon fiber heating pad, and that's positioned in here on both sides and feeds cables up and round to the back here.
Ah, okay. That's super cool, actually. It's like, does that feed in via USB-C? It looked like, okay. There's wires running all throughout this. This is super cool.
Along with, we've also got carbon fiber heating insoles as well that go down into the boots. This is, again, based on the early research that I've discussed in previous videos, where it was found that you can dump more body heat and regulate temperature more efficiently if you put points of heating or cooling onto parts of the body that almost entirely lack body hair. They're really good surfaces for dumping heat from the body into the medium or taking heat on to warm the body.
That makes sense.
So we chose, again, soles of the feet. They're bold. There's no hair on the soles of your feet. Inside the wrists, you could also do the palms. In theory, we could put these same pads inside of the gloves that would go over these, as well as plans down the line once we start developing sort of the outer systems to implement cooling blocks and things onto the back of the hand, actually in the hand armor itself, to again allow for like heat dumping into the materials and allow for the cooling of the extremities. On the subject of cooling the extremities, so this suit actually has beneath that again we have the heating and cooling system, which again I think I've showcased in some earlier videos, which is like a vest with tubing, which I believe you can kind of see somewhat through, sort of around here. You can see some of the tubing that goes through the heating and cooling vest inside. That allows a cooled liquid medium. We're probably going to use an alcohol to be moved through the torso to keep me cool and well thermally regulated. We can use these, which are basically cooling shoulder nacelles. We have 2 of them, so they'll be positioned over the shoulders onto a kind of a custom rack mount that will obviously interface with the hard points back here. And that allows a liquid medium, like I say, probably alcohol, to be circulated throughout the suit. It chills the alcohol to around 15 degrees centigrade, so it is literally like good air conditioning, and that helps keep me cool and then dumps the heat that it picks up from my body into the fans and radiators and exchangers inside of the shoulder nacelles. So that allows cooling. The vest itself also has carbon fiber heating pads stitched throughout the torso itself that warm the body to 40 degrees centigrade, and of course that is enforced and offset by the fact that we've got the insoles and the pads in the wrists here. That means that we can cool the core of the body, and if you cool the core of the body, then the cooled blood then circulates through the extremities. Again, we still might augment that with the idea of the cooling blocks on the palms or on the back of the hands, just to add another layer of cooling. And I'm not entirely ruling out the possibility of revisiting the way in which we're doing the heating and cooling system entirely, and kind of re-optimizing it and making it more efficient. But as it is, it's...
Well, that could also be where the modularity comes in as well, because if you, and this, he's going to know a lot more of the project than I do, right? The people that are backing this, helping him with it, are going to know a lot more than some internet dingus like me. If it was possible to have some sort of modularity in regards to heating and cooling, I mean, so if you're going in, say, to an Arctic or Arctic environment, right? Well, I mean, yeah, maybe you want something to augment your heating capabilities. If you're going somewhere, say, yeah, I don't know, Phoenix, Arizona, right? Maybe something that'll augment your the cooling potential. I think it'd be a neat idea. That being said, I don't know how possible it would be with the systems, or if you would use something like, you would just add more in terms of modularity modules and more systems to augment the current systems.
Relatively efficient as it is anyway. And then beneath that, again, I'm wearing a nylon spandex mix kind of stretchy base layer, which has an array of sensors stitched into it. Oh, before we get there, actually, before we move on, there's Kevlar also stitched into the torso of this, which provides, again, another degree of protection. I think it's 3 layers of Kevlar across the torso area, some on the abs, and then around the back and the sides here. Mm-hmm. That, again, 3 layers helps with some degree of like stab proofing and protection like that.
So, and that's an important point to note as well, where it might be puncture proof, quote unquote puncture, right? The transference of force, however, is still there, right? Let's think about Lord of the Rings, the Peter Jackson trilogy, right? Fellowship of the Ring, Moria, Troll, right? Takes giant trident, thrusts at Frodo, right? Even though, yes, the mithril prevented the spear from going through, he's gonna be feeling that. Just because it's puncture proof doesn't mean that it disperses that force, unless there's something at play here that will help disperse that force somewhere else. But that's also why, realistically, you have the armor on top of this, right? This is just the undersuit portion of this. More armor will be added on to this. But I like the Kevlar addition here. I don't know how that necessarily is going to work. But then again, this begins to looking at it in an active like combat situation, like roll for initiative. Combat has commenced, right? And there are a lot more educated people and a lot more specialized people that can attest to Kevlar in regards to standing up to certain materials, i.e., bullets, knives, etc.
Going back to the stretch layer that's inside, we have an array of sensors that have been positioned throughout the nylon spandex mix. So we have, I'm not sure these will pick it up, but these are very small, there's 2 there, very small thermal sensors. So these are positioned throughout the inner suit. That's positioned, so it's positioned on the extremities, so onto the back of the wrist, on both, down in the legs, and then I have various ones positioned on my torso as well, around center of mass. They all pick up different temperature gradients from their respective locations and all feed them through micro wires into the spine here, where it's picked up by a microcontroller, and then that can be fed out to a microcomputer, which takes control of where to distribute heat or cooling. We also have an absolute pressure sensor that's been put in behind some of this paneling here. So again, that detects if the pressure suddenly drops, it can send the information through to the systems to seal down environment systems. That's again something we're working on down the line. And we have, very similar to the smartwatches and things like that you get, we have these tiny heart monitor, blood oxygenation level sensors that we have again positioned in the wrists to pick up blood oxygenation and heart rate. Again, all feeds through to the conduit in the spine, all feeds through to the microcontroller, which again feeds through eventually to the microcomputer, and that can be displayed ad hoc onto the HUD of the finalized Mjolnir helmet.
Right.
It's still sat proudly, still
God, it's heavy.
as hell.
Yeah.
Still sat proudly here. Again, there's a version 2 of the helmet coming. But all in all, this is the BDU, and I'm extremely pleased with it. I'm extremely pleased with it.
It looks
good. I will
good.
be showcasing this at live events over the next year and a bit. So I will be at the HCS London event here in the UK. I'm fortunate I have to miss the HCS World Seattle event this year, so I won't be there, but I will be there hopefully next year. And there's a few other events I've got on my radar that I want to turn up to. So I will be appearing at venues wearing the real Spartan BDU. And yeah, I'm all in all, this is cool. I like this. It fits nicely. It looks cool. I'm happy. And I want to hear your thoughts. What do you think?
I think it's great.
So,
personally.
all in all, you're relatively caught up with Project Mjolnir, what we've been getting up to. I know it's been radio silent for quite a while again. I apologise for that. There's been a lot of things going on, both in our private lives and just in general, that have slowed things down or have meant that I think some things have had to go onto the back burner. But we're back in hardware mode. We're back in full production. And you're seeing some of the results of hard-earned work. This is, like I say, this is nearly 3 years in the making for the BDU specifically. Along with the fact that we've got the beast of the helmet back there, we've got a version 2 coming, and we're already reverse engineering a lot of the systems that went into the version 1 helmet for things like cosplay. So loads of things going on there. We've also got the exo frame over here, and the maker has made his own exo frames as well, and we're both comparing and contrasting kind of feedback and information while we refine the design, slim things up and optimize things so we can start surging ahead with the actual exo frame of the suit itself. As far as soft materials are concerned, the next big thing to be looking at is the Under Armour itself, the softer Under Armour. So we'll be looking at trying to figure out the functionalities that we need to put into that undersuit, while also still honouring as close as practically possible the functionality within the context of the lore, but with real life modern day technology. All in all, work continues. It's a steady, gradual process. I have to thank every single one of you who have watched this video, who have liked, who have subscribed, who have shared, and who have gone across to either the Materials Group Patreon and support us every month there, or to people who have gone across to the GoFundMe and helped support the project over there. It's because of you guys that this is even possible, and I can't thank you enough. I have to say a huge thank you to everyone who has supported the project so far. To everyone who continues to donate on the GoFundMe, who has supported us on the Materials Group Patreon, who has watched the video, who has liked, subscribed, shared the video, and who continues to support the endeavours of Project Mjolnir and Project ODST. We couldn't do any of this without you, and I just have to say thank you. I can't say thank you enough. Thank you. Remember, links to all of the major things in regards to Project Mjolnir and ways to support and things like that, they're all linked down below. Thanks again for supporting us while we're getting this done, and for bearing with us while we've had this prolonged radio silence, and expect more updates in the very near future.
I can't wait.
Please, everyone, and find peace in the domain.
He said it. He said the line.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider smashing the like button and leave a comment below on what you'd like me to cover next. Big shout out to my patrons, Spartan 10148, the Metarch of my installation, Falcon, Prophet Bear, Mikhail, Sophia, and Ashley, my dutiful monitors, Darian, Scarab, Spartan 0137, Anthony, Ghost, Aaron, Chris, Jacob, Sean, Element Zero, Somatic, Jordan J3, Dan, Mr. Keys, Directal, Gunslinger, Jacob, Bandmill, Echo, Evermore, Officer Cat, and Personal Devil, my diligent sub-monitors, my fleet of Strato Sentinels, and my loyal enforcers.
I do love these tiers.
And all the other patrons
so
who have jumped aboard to support the channel. It means more to me than I can accurately put into words. Another shout out to my Tier 0 Transcendent YouTube members, Spartan137, Jacob, Schmitty, Talia, Fenrir, and Born Stellar, and all the other YouTube members keeping my installation running on that glorious vacuum energy. Shout out to John for I don't fucking know. And if you want more of this kind of content, hit the subscribe button and the little bell icon so you don't miss any future videos, and consider jumping aboard yourself as a patron or YouTube member to keep the channel alive and kicking. Thanks again for watching, take it easy everyone, and find peace in the domain.
I like that he puts it at the end of the video. Not a lot of creators do that, but the fact that he is able to put it at the end of the video in such a professional manner, I absolutely love it. And if you have not checked out Installation00, if this is perhaps your first meeting of with Installation00, if this project interests you, if Halo interests you, might I recommend going and checking out Installation00. As you can see, he's an awesome creator. I've had a little bit of back and forth on a couple reaction videos I did with him. He's just an awesome person. I know it's been a hot minute since I've reacted to one of these. Part of that is due to one, burnout. Part of that is to needing to make sure that as a React channel that I'm growing and I'm kind of being cognizant of what people want to push specifically, what people want to see specifically, but I do like reacting to things like this that I believe in, that I think are super cool, and I'm very happy that he's still around. I do like this update as well. Part of that is going to be, I mean, you need a place to live. Like, I get the radio silence. I get that, people might have an issue with that. At the end of the day, he needs a place to live, and having a rental company just kind of snake your apartment out, not a good feeling. And being able to get all settled in, make sure that you have the ability to do what you can do. I mean, clearly he's back at the grindstone again, just normalizing that that's okay. As YouTubers, contrary to popular belief, we are not gods, we are not superhuman, as much as I push myself to be in certain aspects. We do our best, and I'm very happy that this project is still ongoing. And if you know someone that likes Halo, is interested in this, has expressed interest in Halo or something similar to this, or if you feel you have a vested interest in this as well, I do recommend that you go and check it out and follow his project. But that'll do it for me this time. Definitely go check him out if you haven't. Awesome creator. I do think the algorithm needs to pick him up a little more, because it doesn't really do that, unfortunately. I discovered Installation00 on a whim, and I want to just push as many people as I can. I do also want to, as a reminder, there's no negativity, criticism in regards to the camera, as you can clearly see by his outro with that excellent mic work. It could just be the camera, just trying to focus on multiple different things at once. It could be any number of those things, but just something I thought I would pass as a kind of friendly criticism kind of thing. Probably even a non-issue. But that'll do it for me. Thank you everybody for watching, and thank you for entering this journey with me into another Installation00 video. See you all in the next one.